Amazon Prime's Paper Girls is an adaptation of a hit comic book series. First published by Image Comics in 2015, the series had a 30-issue run concluding in 2019. Written by Brian K. Vaughan and illustrated by Cliff Chiang, the story follows four girls who get swept up in a sci-fi mystery that challenges them in more ways than one. The plot is described as follows. In the early hours after Halloween of 1988, four 12-year-old newspaper delivery girls uncover the most important story of all time. Stand By Me meets War of the Worlds in this mysterious young adult adventure. You've undoubtedly heard the comparisons to Stranger Things by now. From the 80s aesthetics, the color-changing skies, and the four kids on bikes, it's a natural connection to make. But I'm here to talk about why Paper Girls is not Stranger Things. In fact, what if I told you it actually predates the series and it delivers something unique and in some ways better? My name is Joe, and this is With Nuance, a visual and audio essay series where we dissect all things pop culture from a socio-political lens. If you enjoy video essays of this nature, maybe go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
When I was a kid, there was one summer where all of the paper boys who delivered our papers were suddenly and mysteriously replaced by paper girls. And I thought it was so cool that there were these badass 12-year-old children that were allowed to go out at 4 in the morning to deliver bad news to grown-ups. I thought it was awesome. And it was so interesting because they were sort of the first of their kind, but also the last of the dying breed. I just thought, these would always be an interesting protagonist for a story.
Vaughan and Chiang worked with showrunners Christopher C. Rogers and Stephanie Folsom before she stepped down to bring this adaptation to life, along with a variety of episode writers and directors. Since watching the show, I've actually read all 30 issues of the comics, and I really liked them. It was my first comic book series I've ever read, so I'm now understanding why they so frequently get turned into films or television shows. I mean, you essentially have these storyboards already made for you with the visuals and dialogue right there. I have to say it's impressive how well the Amazon Prime team did with translating the comics to the screen. It gets the specifics of the girls' hairstyles, their outfits, and accessories down to a T. If you haven't seen the series yet, as much as I'm recommending it, I'm just gonna let you know that it's a little bit of a slow burn, okay? The first few episodes I feel like leave a little bit to be desired, but I'm telling you, once it picks up speed, it does not take its foot off the gas. Not to mention, the show is even better on repeated viewing once you really understand what's going on. You think you're just watching another cheesy coming-of-age sci-fi at first, and then it takes all of these winding turns. It's tropey, sure, but I laughed, I cried, I had such a good time. And Paper Girls got the casting right, okay? The girls, they feel real, their conversations, their decisions, their motivations. There's depth to their characters, with meaningful nuances to each of their backstories and their development. And I can't talk about what makes this show so great without mentioning the standout performances we get from all of the Paper Girls. Riley Leigh Nillette and Ali Wong as Erin, Sophia Rosinski as Mac, Fina Straza as KJ, and my favorites, Cameron Jones and Sakaya Kenny as Tiffany. I was super impressed by Sakaya Kenny's performance because this is her first role listed on IMDb. I also love Adina Porter in literally anything. She was amazing in this as Priores. My only gripe was I feel like the character should have gotten much more screen time, and I wish that she would have been more fleshed out, not only in the show, but in the comics. But at the same time, it's like, how much can you expect when you look at the creators? Anyway, so I can't just mention it being better than Stranger Things and then not make a direct comparison. One of my biggest critiques of Stranger Things and many nostalgic 80s projects is their completely whitewashed depiction of the 80s. The writing would have you believing that issues like racism, homophobia, and misogyny were simply background static of the time period, never represented as issues that actually impact people's lives and warrant real concern, but only referenced to serve as a singular plot point in the show. And even when these issues are addressed, they're never handled with care or concern. Too many projects right now that have a mixed race cast are glossing over that reality for the sake of a whiter, dishonest depiction of that decade. Anything that makes them feel more comfortable about their nostalgia. Now, Paper Girls tries not to do this. Keyword try there. Because are they offering some sort of profound revolutionary commentary? No, not in the slightest. But it doesn't shy away from the racial and ethnic scapegoating that was popular then and now. Despite the comics being written and illustrated by two men, I was pleasantly surprised to see the Amazon series is solely directed by women. And according to the creators, there were plenty of women in the writer's room. So to wrap up my little spoiler-free review, the show was super cute and I personally love a second season. Please don't go ahead and do this show like you did to my baby The Wilds, okay? I'm still not recovered. So let's talk about what makes this show so enjoyable. The charismatic main cast and the underlying socio-political themes. Now I'm about to spoil the whole series, so click away if you are not trying to have that happen, okay? Okay.